Hello everyone, it's getting to be that spooky time of year again, and today, in this workshop, I'm going to be teaching you how to do the basics of photo manipulation. We'll be using stock images of a random person today, but this can easily be done with a photo of yourself. This way, you can make a spooky, customized Halloween portrait of yourself or a family member in the comfort of your own home. So let's get started. Today, we're going to be using the software known as GNU Image Manipulation Program, otherwise known as GIMP. This is a free software that you can find online. It's a good stand-in for Photoshop. And before we get started on the actual photo manipulation, we're going to want to make sure we have these two docs open. The toolbox, tool options, and the layers gradients. These can be found under the Windows drop-down menu. Once you have these open, we can continue. And before we go any further, I will go ahead and click this eyeball icon, which will make this layer invisible, so we won't see my cute drawing anymore. To begin with, I'm going to need you to open up all the images that we provided for you to use today. In this instance, we've got a spooky background, an image of a person, a galaxy, a cat, a butterfly, and a bird. We're going to be using bits and pieces of all of these to make our spooky image. We're going to navigate to a picture of the person here. We're going to be using the lasso tool, number 1, to take this person and add them to the other image. Take this, go through, and trace the image of this person. Luckily, for future images, you're not going to have to watch me outline everybody, as I've already pre-prepared a lot of things. But for this one, I wanted to make sure you could see what I'm doing. And the more of these circles that we add to the image, these little anchor points, the smoother this is going to look. Almost there. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can clean it up on the other page if necessary. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. One of the best things about photo manipulation is you can do anything. Everything is on the table. No mistakes can be made. There we go. We've got this person selected now. So what I'm going to have you do is copy the image with Control-C on your keyboard. And now we're going to take this and paste it into our original Spooky Forest image. So if we go down here, over to the forest, over here, and paste it in. See, it's added it here, and it's also added a floating selection right here. So what you're going to do is right-click this and hit Convert to New Layer, okay? And we are going to call this Person. All right? So now that we've got this here, we're going to go over here to the Move icon, and this will let you move the person around. And as you can see, there's a little bit of white sticking out here and there, and there's this whole section, but we'll deal with that in a second. So what I'm going to need you to do is over here, hold down a little bit until these boxes pop up and hit the Scale tool. This will let you change the size of the image. And this kind of depends on you, however big you want this person to be. I think maybe a little smaller, something about like that. That looks good. And it looks fairly centered, so we're going to go with that. And we're also going to take the eraser and using the magnifying glass, we're going to zoom in. And we are going to do a little bit of erasing just to try to get some of these weird spots. Get rid of them. And I'm specifically using the softer tool right here. There's a bunch of different ones you can use. I'm using this one. just to get rid of some of the white space around this person. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let me zoom up, scroll up, I mean. That. Here we go. And I know we included the ears, but I'm actually going to remove this person's ears, and you'll see why in a moment. That looks pretty good. And finally, we're going to take the lasso tool one more time and go through here. We're going to select all this white space. We're going to take the eraser tool and go through and remove it. None. There we go. So we have an earless person now. Not exactly Halloween yet, but that'll work. That'll work. Here's where things are going to start getting a little strange. So we're going to go back up here to our lasso tool, and we're going to make sure we have the feathered edges option selected. And the radius for this is going to be around 20. Okay? And we are going to go through, and we're going to remove the majority of this person's face. Now, you don't have to do this if you're using a photo of yourself. You can do whatever you want. That's part of the fun of this. But we're going to go through and do it like this. Trying to follow the contour of the face a little bit. There we go. What I'm going to do, take the eraser, and we're going to erase this face. And you can see, since we selected feathered edges, see how there's a little bit left over on the inside there? It gives it a nice feathered look, and it's not quite as harsh as the outside lines that we had out here. Alright, so now this person is missing their face. Now we're going to go to the cat. This cat has some cute little ears and some cute little eyes, and I've already gone through and selected parts of the kitty cat for us to use. So what I'm going to do is actually drag them out of this box so that we can use them. And I'll close this back up so you don't have to see them right now. What we have here is cat eyes and cat ears. Alright, so what we're going to do, take this move tool, move one of these down and move the other ones, whoops, the ears up. Scroll up. So we've got the cat ears up here. What I want you to do is take the eraser tool and select it. I see what's wrong. If you ever have a moment while you're working on this and you've got something else selected on another layer, just go up here to select and none, and it will deselect this so you can work in other sections. Go through. Just get rid of all of that. What we're going to do is the scale tool again. Change the size of this, move it around till they're a good location for this person. Do it something like that, so it works with their hairline. And we're gonna go over here, cat ears and the person. These two are gonna be considered the same image from here on out. And to make that happen, what we're gonna have to do is unselect all these eyeballs right here. These are now all invisible. The only layers that are open are the person and the cat ears. We're gonna select this one, go down to here, merge visible layers. We are gonna merge them, and now this is one layer. Turn the eyes, whoopsie, and this back on. We are gonna take cat eyes, we're gonna move them back up, hereabouts. take the eraser tool again, and we're going to remove all the excess stuff around the eyes, the fur, a little bit. There we go. Clean that up a little. Alright, so from here we're going to rotate the cat's eyes just a little bit because they seem a little too tilted. The cat in the previous image was a little tilted. So we're gonna take this and we're going to rotate the eyes just ever so slightly. And should be good now. I think that works. Maybe it's a little too tilted. A little bit more. Okay, so we're gonna leave it like that. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to the person layer. And for this one, I'm gonna do something a little different. So we're gonna go down to the up to the color drop down, and we are gonna go to color balance. So I'm sure as you're looking right here, this person is sticking out like a sore thumb in this forest. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to make them match the color of the background, so just so the lighting kind of works. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mess around a little bit. Now, I'm not gonna tell you any specific numbers for this because I think it's more of a visual thing. You'd have to go through and kind of look and see what works for you. Very blue. We're gonna go with something about like this, messing with the cyan, the magenta, and the yellow settings, the color adjust levels. And now, both the ears and this person's skin somewhat match the lighting of the forest now. Once you're happy with it, hit OK, and this goes back to the way it was before. Right, and we're gonna do the same thing actually with the eyes. We're gonna go to the color balance, and we're gonna find something we like. These yellow eyes are pretty neat, but maybe kind of like the orange, so we're gonna go. Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, we're gonna go with this. All right, there we go. So we've got the eyes and skin tone fixed. So for this next step, we're going to use another one of the images. And this one is going to be the galaxy one. And this one can probably be the easiest one of all, because all I need you to do is hit select all, and that selects the whole image right here. And then you're going to paste it into our original image here, which I've already done. So we're going to bring it over here, out of the box, close that, and now we'll turn that on, and we have space. And this is taking up the whole image. So what I'm going to need you to do is turn down the opacity a bit so we can see everything through the image. And in this instance, the space is being used to try to make the image look a little more ethereal. And the coloration for this is really pretty, and it matches the background, so we're not going to mess with the color at all for this. So we're going to get the eraser tool, and you're going to go through, and you're just going to erase stuff that you don't think is necessary. Maybe we don't need all of this. Maybe it's just radiating off of this person. This, maybe forest spirit, maybe? Just going to go through and erase some parts here. Don't need everything. And once you're happy with that, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. We're going to take space here and we're going to drag it down behind the person so it's radiating off of them. Maybe from where their face is missing, well, their face. So we've got that. Simple, and that step is done. So from here, we're going to go to another image, and this one is going to be of the butterflies, or the butterfly wings. So we've got two separate wings here, and you're going to want to take each wing separately and paste them into your image document and then convert them into a layer. So once you have that done, oops, you'll have something like this with these added. So what you're going to want to do, separate these wings, different sides of the face. We're going to take this one and we are going to rotate it, get it vertical, and we're going to scale the butterfly wings so it better fits this face. Scale it down a little bit more, something about like that, and we're going to rotate it. Yeah. Try to make it match about like that. Have a little bit of the eye peeking out maybe. And then we're going to go to the other wing and we're going to do something similar. We're going to scale it down. We're going to rotate it down a little more. But this wing was a little different. It was at a different angle. So we're actually going to go to the 3D transform tool and we're going to angle it so it's a little more vertical the way we want it. Lastly, we'll move this up to match, and we might have to scale a little more. There, that'll work. So what we're going to do next is we are going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to combine visible layers so that the wings are now on one layer. Turn everything back on. There we go. We're going to turn the opacity for the wings down to about 40% or so. Take the eraser tool and get rid of some of this. So it seems like they're sprouting from her face, and I'm actually going to clear a little bit above here because if I remember correctly, yeah, there's a little bit of the butterfly's background at the top of these. So we'll clear that off. Here we go. So we've got these beautiful wings sprouting from her face. Then we're going to go to color and we're going to do something a little different this time. Instead of going to color balance, we're going to go to hue chroma. And we're going to play around with this a little bit. And we're going to take something that pops a little bit. Yeah, something about right there. So that adds like a kind of a bizarre ethereal look to the wings as well. Alright, so for this next step, we're going to go to the very last image we have, which is of the macaw. So you're going to take your lasso tool and go through and outline it again, copy and paste it and convert it to a layer. And what you're going to have, oops, is this right here, bird wing. Turn that on and it's a very cute wing. What we're going to do, going once again, play with the scale, a little bigger. We're going to rotate it a little. Yeah. And then we're going to take it down here. And it's going to be like a feather shawl around this person's shoulders. So now that we have that, we're going to do one thing different. We're going to go here and we're going to go flip. And then we're going to go to the wing and we are going to duplicate layer. Make sure you've got the copy layer for the second copy selected. Click here and it will flip the wing. We're going to take this over and add it to this side. So now that we've got a wing on both sides. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. And we are going to merge visible layers. These are merged now. Turn all these back on. We've got this. And as you can see, the bird wing is covering this person's hand. That's not really going to work, unfortunately. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the opacity down again so we get a pretty good idea of what's going on here. We're going to zoom in into this area, and we are going to take the eraser, and we are just going to, too big, go through and remove where the hand is. Or remove the feathers that are overlaid over the hand. Go through. Like that. Nope, we're still... This way. There we go. That's pretty good. So we're going to turn that back up. And we're going to zoom back out. There we go. It looks like the hand is like in front of the feathers now instead of under them. And lastly, we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. And we are going to go to the hue chroma under colors, and we are going to play around with this until we make something. Ooh, that's pretty. That goes really well with the wings. Play around. Let's go with a little darker, I think. Yeah. Yeah, something about like that. So now we have everything added to the image. Now, this isn't a very complex photo manipulation, but it's a fun, simple one to practice to get an idea of what you can do. All right, so we're basically done. Last thing you're going to need to do is go and save this image. So save as, for this one, we've got Forest Spirit. We'll lose the 3. We'll just call it Forest Spirit. Save it wherever you want. And then finally you're going to export the image as a PNG file. Okay? This may take a moment. Oh, and it may threaten to crash. I hope yours doesn't do that like mine just did. But there we go. It's saved. And just to show you what it looks like, we'll open this up. And we have right here this final image. Ta-da! Thanks for hanging out with me today and checking out our workshop. If you make your own photo manipulation, share it with us on Facebook. Thanks for stopping by!